So as promised in my last video, I said I would give you a reveal of everything I purchased at the beautiful Blocks Garden Center. And first up we have some June-bearing strawberries that I'm going to plant in with my asparagus. And because these are a June-bearing, before all the fronds develop on my asparagus, I'll be able to harvest this. And then the strawberries can act as a lovely ground cover over the asparagus bed, so I won't have as much weed pressure. So I'm very excited to be getting those in. Next up is lamb's ear. It's a beautiful perennial in our area. The variety, this one, is Fuzzy Wuzzy. It's going to get to be about 14 inches tall and 14 inches wide. They're beautiful and soft and bring a beautiful bluish green to the garden. Now we have some Creeping Jenny. This is an annual in my area, but it's a great spiller out of a pot, or if you have an area that you're just trying to grow fast ground cover for, this will work beautifully. Next up is Setcressia. This is a beautiful, it almost looks like it is a succulent look to it, kind of a waxy, but beautiful dark red. Next we have, the common name for this is sweet potato vine, and it is very prolific. It's beautiful, spilling out of the sides of beds or spilling out of the sides of pots. Very rarely you will actually get a sweet potato from it, but that is not the point. These are not being grown for their sweet potato. And over here we have this beautiful violet Corsican Viola. This is a perennial in my area, so this is a new one for me. I've never grown this before, but I thought it would be beautiful if I bring this up to my front bed, in my front yard, where I'm growing the lavender down on the boulevard. So that's the placement, I think, for those. This is just a flat of mixed snapdragons. My snapdragon germination was not fabulous this year, so I didn't actually go back for a second flat of these, and I'm going to wait until they bud so I know what colors they are. I'm not a fan of mixed colors together. I really like to separate them because I think there's a bit more of an impact when it's a solitary color. Now this is Heuchera Coral Forest, another perennial in my area. This is also for our front beds, so we'll take you out there when we are planting those. This is Lantana. I have never grown lantana before, but I have hot pink geraniums and hot orange geraniums, and I thought this would just look beautiful with it. So I'm going to be planting those, obviously, with my geraniums. This plaque is a gift from a dear friend, so I find somewhere special every year to put that. Here is some cilantro that I picked up. I can get that out like right about now. I also picked up some root parsley. I've never grown root parsley before. Not sure how it's going to transplant to me. I feel like I might have blown it there, picking it up as already grown, but we will try it. This is some lemongrass that I use kind of as a thriller inside a pot because it gets so tall and beautiful. And this is, of course, a lot of spinach. Now here's the thing. It's not that my spinach did not germinate. It immediately went to seed. And I do love getting a little crop of spring spinach. So I'm hoping that that's indeed what I can get. I picked up a few poblano peppers. My sweeter and mild peppers are taking their very sweet time to grow. So I thought I might help them along. And this is a few habaneros. Also, I have one habanero that's growing that is half the size of these, And I do like getting a few habaneros. Now this is a fun, uh, interesting, curly, twisted rush that I'd love to put in a pot and see what that ends up looking like. So that was just more for fun. There's some more Lantana and more Setcressia. I tend to buy plants that if I'm not specifically sure of what I'm going to be doing with them, I buy, 3 or 5, because I just feel like that's more pleasing anyway, right? This next one is Diamond Frost, and I think that's kind of exactly what it looks like. So I think that'll be a fun filler to play with. This is just some red. I think the name on this was just red spikes. And I kind of liked how it looked with my brick, so I might put that in one of my front planters. This next one is one of my favorite grasses. It's a purple fountain grass. Unfortunately, it's an annual here, but I tend to pick up at least one of those every year. And here is a gorgeous Supertunias are really just done by proven winners. I think they have a patent on those, or yes. But look at those beautiful colors. It's called Persimmon, but it's kind of like a pink with a gold center. So I think that will just be beautiful out in my front landscape. Also some Easy Wave Blue Petunias. I do have some of these started that are growing quite nicely, but I have such tall raised beds. I just love having flowers drape over the sides and in amongst my food that I'm growing. And lastly, I bought a fuchsia that I'm going to hang underneath our magnolia tree. These plants they take a lot of water, they love water, and they love shade. So I think it's going to add a lot of color to the magnolia tree because it's on its last legs of blooming right now, so it'll just become a green tree. So now we're going to start taking a look at what I've got inside, because I need to start juggling what's inside and what's outside. That was a flat of flowers. This is a flat of pine berries or white strawberries that are also kind of taking some time. We have a few more flowers in there. And this is my third succession sowing flat that will be hardening off soon. These are my hot peppers, which are doing beautifully. These are some miscellaneous items. I think I have rutabaga back there. These are some more peppers. These are the only snapdragons that seem to have been showing any life. These are daisies and petunias. This flat is impatiens, which are doing beautifully. This is Dusty Miller and geraniums, which are doing wonderfully. These are my tomatoes. I also have some hollyhock there with tomatoes behind it. This is my celery and celeriac, which is desperate to get out, and more tomatoes. So now we're just going to be doing what can we move? What can we start hardening off outside so that we can get some of these plants, which are not ready to be planted outside, into the house under the lights. So we end up playing some musical chairs. We decide to take 4 of our bigger plants to put out in the living room to make room, and we start shuffling everything around. I think you'll get it. I'm going to put a little music to it, and then I'll wrap this up at the end. Well, thanks so much for watching. This is Audrey from Real Food Comes Dirty. Please be sure to check out my website and know that I do a live every Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Would love to see you there. Bye now.